search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County.
And I got to play with your wand. It was great.
Definitely fun.
Oh, keep going.
It's iced coffee in my ghost face cup. Period.
Oh, I got hot coffee in my Chucky.
No,
mug.
it's just too hot over here in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, I got
if
cold
it goes
brew.
past 60 degrees, it's scorching.
It's
for me.
so fucking hot. It's so
Yeah, it is
hot.
warm. It's warm as fuck up in here. But hi James, how are
Hi.
you?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Great. Welcome to Footage Foreplay. I'm
Yeah.
Terrell. This is Evan, who was talking your ear off, and you got Lord Battle down there, aka Russell.
Hi.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. We showed what happened to Susie on the Virtual Fest. We were just talking about that, and you liked Uffy and all that good stuff. But how did you get into found footage? Tell us about you a little bit.
How did I get into found footage? Well,
Yeah.
let's see. I guess it all started with the Blair Witch, I guess. But actually, here I'm going to go way back. All right, so I was making a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on this public access show doing sound,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the people on there was like, "Hey, we should do a documentary." I'm like, "Great, yeah, let's do a documentary." So we did a documentary on haunted attractions, right? Like just little some Bay Area ones too.
Oh, like
Pirates
what?
of Emerson was one of the haunted attractions. I think it's still there. Yeah,
Which one? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
what
spoke
was
over
it
you.
called?
Pirates of Emerson.
Yeah, you never been to that, Russ?
No, you have?
No, but I heard of it.
Oh, okay.
No, it's been around for oh my god,
It's been around for a long time. I always see the promos for it.
Yeah,
Or like on Instagram and shit like that.
yeah. So we made this doc called Festivals of Fright, and we were going around, and this is the year that Blair Witch came out. And so everybody was like, "Oh, look, it's the Blair Witch Project," or whatever. Everywhere we went. So I sort of didn't watch it for a long time because I was just sort of I don't know, annoyed by all the comments we were getting. Anyway, flash forward a year later, finished the doc. I finally watch it at home on VHS, probably the way it should be watched. It was a great experience. So that's kind of where I started to think yeah, it'd be fun to do some kind of mock documentary style movie.
So you did a documentary called Festival of Fright. Was that released? Like why?
It was released, but it was such a long time ago. So this would have been. It was released in 2000. So it just to VHS and.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were kind of self-distributing. I was just kind of starting my career, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So it kind of disappeared because of that.
Evan, can you find it? I'm trying to find it online and I can't.
You can find YouTube. I think the co-owner put it up on YouTube.
Rad.
Yeah.
And people
Russell
were
loves
comparing
YouTube.
it. Oh, dude, I love YouTube.
What was the title again, Russ?
Festival of Fright?
Festival
I mean, you could ask the filmmaker.
World, yeah. Yeah, Festivals of Fright.
Festivals of Fright, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and people were comparing it to the Blair Witch?
Well, we were being compared to the Blair Witch because we were running around with video cameras in these haunted attractions, and people thought we were like actors. They thought
Let me see. Who are
there
these
you-
people?
there
This is
you
the
go.
first one?
That's part two.
It's split into sections because when this was posted on YouTube, they had limits. So it's not the whole documentary. It's just the different haunts. Yeah. So
Okay.
Cool.
Wait, can we get a little bit of that?
Yes,
Can we-
play something from
Yeah.
it.
I'm
Let's
trying
play
to find
it.
part one. Let's. That's what I was.
It's
No,
we don't need
go in the middle. We don't want to see the
I know.
beginning. Girl.
We don't need
we like the
continuity.
meat. Get into the meat of the movie. Let's
Pirates
come
of
on.
Emerson is the first one, though. That's
Oh
what I
shit,
wanted to do.
Terrell's
Oh,
favorite
okay.
place. All right, you could jump forward. We don't.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
Evan. we got a
Hold
time
on.
crunch.
I had to get my audio right so that you
Okay.
could.
The whole group of us, the family, the friends, we all.
Oh, yeah,
that's-
look, dude.
oh, that's
we all
creepy.
contribute Something we just sit down and decide what it is we need and
Okay.
brainstorm how to do
What
it.
was that?
And,
There is a doc that's pretty popular. That's like
when everything works right. That's
Oh, you're talking about the
that's a really
religious one?
satisfying thing to
No.
plan it all
Because there's
out,
Hell
on
House,
paper,
right?
and you say,
Which is
yeah,
like the
this
religious
great,
haunt, and then there's
to
a
actually
crew that
see
goes
it
through,
happen,
and it's
and
real.
everything works the way it's
That shit is
supposed to
fucking.
be.
It's a
And,
really good
you know,
documentary.
our haunts are.
I can't remember the name of the one I'm trying to think of, but this is cool, and it's kind of like this, where it's like they go around to different attractions, and it's just a real doc too, and it's like Haunters, the Art of the Scare, or something like that.
Oh yeah, there's a couple. There's
Oh,
a couple
okay,
of them. Yeah.
okay, sure. I do remember that one.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it, and that reminds me just what that little clip we saw of yours, just stylistically of that. So I'm excited to go back and watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. I'm going to go when I visit San Jose. I'm going to see if any VHS tapes remain actually of that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Can you please? Because I am dying to watch that. And you know, I think it's honestly, you should have leaned into it, because the aesthetic of the Blair Witch is really like, it jumped at me right looking at it. And now it's kind of something people are chasing, because I mean, dude, this year at the fest, we had so many movies who, in World Camera, we've kind of moved out of like this gluttonous period where everybody was kind of trying to do the in-world thing without really giving it any like energy mentally, like thinking about the medium and the tropes. And then we moved into an era where everybody was they understood it, but they were just kind of putting digital assets over everything to like make it feel like the video was something older and kind of like harkening back. And then now this year at UF8, we had like 3 movies that were actually shot on video. Like people are going that far. So honestly, as we were talking, I looked on eBay. I'm like, can I find one of these right now? Unfortunately, there are none up there. So,
So you did the sound on that, right? Is that all you did on that?
I directed it too.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the sound and I directed it. Yes.
Because I'm going to go back. Okay, Evan.
Yo, I was just gonna say, speaking of sound, you've mixed sound on a ton of shit.
Oh yeah, that's where I was kind of going. I just wanted to go back a little bit. Yeah, because you did sound on one of my favorite movies called Two Witches. How was that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you look shocked I said that. But no, that was such a great movie. And how was it working and doing the sound and coming up with all that creepiness with that movie? Because I love that movie.
You know, it's good. Pierre has a very unique way of working. I think they call it something like Zen filmmaking or something like that.
Okay.
So he kind of has an outline. He doesn't really have a screenplay.
got it.
Hell yeah.
We'll sort of go in there and we'll just start shooting scenes, and we worked on that off and on for about 2 years, and he's got a couple other movies I've helped him with as well. And he just will sort of add on scenes as he goes until he has like a final movie. But that was a short film initially.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess it didn't really catch on in the festival circuit, so he just kept working on it, and then eventually he had a feature.
Oh, it was great. So your love for film came after the sound stuff, right? Because you were into music, you were in a band or so. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So in the mid '90s, I was in the hardcore punk scene.
Oh, okay.
Started a band as a teenager, and that's and then I got into recording bands. So I was doing that in the Bay Area. Band called God Stomper. I did some stuff for 695 Records, and I was just kind of doing that for years. Then that's how I met the guy at the public access place. He found out I did sound, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to come in and do sound?" I said, "Okay." Did sound there, but I really like the other aspects, the camera, the whole production. I thought, wow, film is great because it kind of encompasses all of the arts, right? Like,
Yeah.
I sort of have a love for everything, and film sort of allows me to, use all of my skills, writing.
Yeah. You get to play in all those sandboxes.
Music. Yeah, exactly. At the same time,
Yeah.
So,
Wait, now before you all pivot away,
Yeah.
The previous show that I worked on, podcast, one of our co-hosts was in a Bay Area hardcore band, and I ended up working with him throughout the like whole startup boom. And he would just hire all of these people from hardcore bands, and I didn't know any of them. I was over here. I'm like, I love Bay Area music. I'm a thrash guy. And then people are like, fuck that. Everybody was hardcore. And I'm like, I don't even really understand what that is. But my homie Justin, he was in a band called Alcatraz. Do you know them?
I don't know. There's probably 10 bands with that name. So.
Damn, the shade.
He would disagree, but I love that. Yeah, what, Alcatraz, Red Handed. I don't even know if they're actually hardcore. But yeah, like, that's so funny. There's such a crossover with like horror film and hardcore music.
Yeah, there is. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, when I was, when I was living in Seattle, there's this one young woman that would come over and she'd always have her VHS tapes, like her new Fangoria releases and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like the late night. And, she turned me on to a lot of the underground stuff. Like I remember watching a movie called iZombie and going like, wow, this is a trip, like super low budget. But like, I thought the story was interesting. And so that kind of maybe showed me what could be done with very little money. So I like that because it did harken back to my whole, do it yourself sort of punk mentality. Yeah.
Yep. That's probably a reason why they go so well with like the indie movie scene, the DIY nature. Like, I mean, like kind of like it's funny because I worked on a film with Robbie Smith, who's a lead singer of a band called Heavy Heavy Lolo. Mm-hmm. And you can feel that DIY spirit, yet he wanted to employ people who were in SAG. And there was this whole thing where we had to use the micro budget, I guess like excuse where they just have to get some money, like something, and then SAG will kind of look the other way. Because, post-COVID, there were so many people just not working. And they wanted to be part of a horror movie.
Yeah, sure.
Did you have to deal with that at all? I know.
You mean the COVID stuff?
Yeah, the COVID red tape. Oh,
it's terrible. I mean, I don't make any money making movies. I lose money.
Yeah.
But as a sound mixer, I've had a long career. I'm in the union too. I've been doing that for like almost 20 years, and there's been no work basically.
Yeah.
For like 2 years. I mean, no, like nothing. I work like 2 days a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all falling apart. And so many people are moving away. And it's just, it's everyone's in denial. But yeah, it's as bad as it could possibly be right now in the film industry.
We also, it's funny because we all do indie projects, whether it's YouTube. Evan's currently working on a movie. And the main hurdle, the scary hurdle, is the audio. And it's like everybody gets in there, they want to direct, or, with me, like maybe you don't want to be in front of the camera and I want to do post and I love editing. And it's like there's kind of this ready group of people to work. And then it's like, who's going to do the fucking mix? So you're kind of a unicorn.
I need a job like anybody, please. Anybody.
Dude, that's the thing. Like,
I think the problem is we don't have money.
Exactly. But here's the thing, like all those other people, because there's so many options out there that everybody's kind of willing to just do the exposure battle, which is a nightmare. But when it comes to audio, it's like, well, we got a little bit of money. We got to pay somebody to do the audio.
Yeah.
So
good idea. When I do get hired these days, it's to fix bad, mixing. So.
Yeah.
What's your rate? We got a large category of podcasts that could probably use some polishing.
I'm savvy. It's like, what's your budget? The thing is I have to work with budgets, really low ones too. So, but yeah, if you have something you need help with, let me know. I'll cut you a great deal.
I'll have you know, Russell, before we hit pressed record, I think you were peeing. James told me he complimented the production of our podcast. So
the video?
Yeah. And I don't know about the whole thing.
No, I know what Evan's doing. Evan loves a good pat on the back.
Yeah,
if he works on anything, he loves a pat on the back and a head rub.
He wants his name to be in bright lights, bright and big letters too. So make sure. Everyone go shout out Evan. Everyone comment.
Shading this production. I just wanted to know. I want him to know that we got a good mark from a very established man in the industry.
Evan, let me tell you. Okay, this is just between me and Evan. Everybody else, close your ears. Evan, when you got what they call a face for radio, you got to learn self-deprecation, brother.
A
So,
face
you know
for
what?
radio?
Speak for
That is
yourself, dude.
shade.
I look
He
good.
said a face for radio. Oh, you're going a little bit too far, Evan. All right, so let's get back to James. So, James, you had a band. You've been doing all this sound mixing 20 plus years and all this good stuff. You got into the little haunt stuff way back in the 90s, you said, right? No, 90s was the music. But what got you? So we were going to talk about what happened to Susie. How did that come about? About this mystery meeting Paul Parducci, who we love. He's a alumni of this show. He was one of our first guests, by the way. So talk about.
Yeah, I know. He sent me the recording. Yeah. So
Nice.
Okay.
He's proud of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he scared us over here. But yeah, that's. So tell us about the movie and how you got to meet him and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I made a short film called The Premonition. What was that? 2016, somewhere around there. It starred Betsy Baker from The Evil Dead, and I ended up casting Paul. That's how I met him. So just through a casting site. I actually had to convince him to do it because we were so low budget, and I don't know if there were some other issues, but we were SAG, and I eventually convinced him to do it. He sent me this really, really good audition tape that was like where he did like a whole short film, with him like hiding in the shadows and stuff like that. It was like really impressive. So I was like, oh, I got to meet this guy. And he had a great voice. He just had a really kind of intimidating, boomy, voice. And so anyway, so I brought him in to do The Premonition. And then we started writing this revenge movie together. This is pre-pandemic.
Okay.
He wanted me to direct some things. He sent me the scripts, and it didn't really work out. But we were still like, well, let's collaborate, on something. And so we started working on this revenge thing, and we finished it. It's called The Waiter. It's good. I kind of wanted to go stay in the horror genre though, and he maybe at that time was a little bit more interested in trying different genres and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, we finished it, but the pandemic hit, and we're like, well, we're never going to get money for this now. It was just kind of just stop that dead in its tracks. But I had another thing that I was working on with someone else. And it was essentially an outline for Susie, written pre-pandemic. But it didn't work because we couldn't really conceal Dawn well enough. It was like, it just wouldn't have worked pre-pandemic. But as soon as we were all masked up and everything, it just was like, oh, okay, now this guy can kind of like hide in plain sight, do his thing, and essentially get away with it. So that was kind of the impetus for that.
Okay, it's interesting how you sort of used the state of the world to tell your story.
Yeah, it just sort of happened that way. Obviously we didn't plan the pandemic. We're not responsible, but my buddy Dave was like, he sort of just mentioned it. We had worked on the script a while back, developing it, and he's like, "Oh, I think now's a good time." And I kind of thought about it and was like, "Yeah, okay, all right, cool." And also it was sort of, I was thinking this was going to cost less money, and we would be able to make this kind of film during the height of the pandemic. A narrative would have been a little bit more challenging, a straight narrative. I mean, traditional.
Right.
Little did I know that it was going to turn out to be a much more expensive production than I anticipated because of all the SAG regulations and stuff. You had to have a compliance officer on set, and there were a bunch of regulations that I didn't really anticipate. So anyway, my found footage film costs almost 5 times as much as my straight narrative that I just finished making.
Oh yeah.
So the cost saving thing wasn't really a factor during the pandemic. Let me put it that way.
So
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Terrell.
No.
During COVID, I know, like you said, they had like officers that need to be on set, and they had people who would test every day. And I know we have a friend who was working on The Walking Dead, and he was saying that they had to be driven to set by somebody, and they would get a test before and after. And when you're doing like an indie movie, do they alter the regulation, or is that just like firm? Like you need, like, so you had an officer on set. Did you have any other like medical hoops they made you like jump through, or?
Well, people were paranoid on their own at that time. So we sort of followed the rules just to give the actors peace of mind, because not everybody was on board, you know what I mean, with cutting corners. Now, I will say this, like, sure, you could have broken every rule, in the SAG guidebook, and they probably wouldn't have caught on. They're understaffed, and they're, you know what I mean? And during the pandemic, it was a shit show all around. So, we probably could have, broken the rules, but we didn't. We followed them. Also, it was my first feature, so I kind of like to do things the right way before I break all the rules. So that's sort of my motto. Yeah.
You got to learn them. You got to learn them before you can break them. But I just, like, you had Paul Parducci, who's a legitimate actor. So I just imagine that even if you didn't want to follow him, like, SAG would be like, what the fuck? You know, like, he's one of our guys, and they would probably try and, like, in name of his safety, reach out and try and shut it down or something, right? Like,
yeah, everything changed with the pandemic. Like, I don't know. I can't really tell you. I'd say pre-pandemic, yes, that would have happened. But I don't know. During the pandemic, honestly, probably not. What I did notice was, like, one thing we didn't do, because it's ridiculous, is pay, thousands of dollars for permits and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, screw that. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? It was just unreasonable. Shooting rules and regulations in Los Angeles.
So it's funny. I think my biggest exposure to seeing the kind of inside baseball of like productions in Hollywood during COVID was, funnily enough, through Jackass, because they brought back Forever, they were one of the first like big productions to try to shoot like after everything had happened, and in 4.5 you kind of get to see a lot of that footage of them like doing the COVID stuff, and they pranked each other, of course, during those things too. But it was just, it's funny that they gave me the most, I think, insight into what that was actually like of any of the stuff I watched. But you kind of got to see how much bullshit they had to go through just to get there and get started.
There were some. I don't know if these are overall positive things, but it was very easy to shoot during COVID without permits, and nobody was cracking down on anything. So all of a sudden, you could get away with all these things shooting in Los Angeles, and it's still that way. It still hasn't gone back to normal. So on my last one, I kind of like knew what I could get away with and what I might have trouble with. But man, I mean, going around with the camera. No problem now in Los Angeles. That's just because nobody's cracking down on anything. It's lawless. It's basically lawless in Los Angeles right now.
Yeah, well, is the COVID like officer and like that wing of film production, is that like gone now? Did that actually retract, or is it still there?
I believe it's gone. I mean, I haven't shot anything union for a while. Okay. My last feature I shot non-union. Because dealing with SAG is a lot. It's a lot. Like, they'll wait for the last minute to give you the green light, and you already have all of these locations rented and all this equipment and people booked and stuff, and they wait to the day before you shoot to give you the green light. It's just like, there's a lot of stuff like that dealing with them. I mean, look, I'm for the unions. I'm pro union. But man, they need to make it easier on indie filmmakers. That was the main reason I didn't do the last one, SAG, was because of them, because of the way that they operate. So it wasn't a money thing. It was just like, I can't be like held hostage by SAG. No, you know what I mean? Until the day before.
They're gonna have to do something, because we've made it through COVID, which was, honestly, I'm a little bit excited. I know this might sound like a lie to people listening, but COVID cinema there's got to be like a collection of it because it was such a weird blip, and it's kind of a thing that people don't like talking about anymore, like the lockdown and living through that. But yet we have all this film. And also, Evan, I think Jackass may be the most important one. I remember out here, because we're in the Bay Area. I mean it. That was like the return to the theater. Like, not a full return, but I remember seeing that in the theater.
That was
and
my
movie,
first one after like all the shit went down with COVID. Yeah, I was like, dude, I got to go see Jackass.
Hold on. It's a little bit different because you're out in Mississippi.
I'm super rural.
Yeah.
And it didn't, we didn't really ever shut down fully
Exactly.
here, you know,
Thank you.
but like not on the level that like probably Los Angeles or San Francisco did, you know. I mean, we had regulations and stuff like that, but, and we had a stay inside order and shit, but
I believe at the mall that we went to go see it at, they had people at the door like enforcing like mask wearing. Like it was very like, it was still a weird transition back. And it didn't even feel like we were back. So we're in the theater. The thing was that Jackass is a movie all about friends hanging out. And it was kind of like, oh shit, yeah, we can remember something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it was important, but now we've made it through that, and now we're pivoting into like the new frontier, which is like an AI world. And James, I know you're an audio guy, and I always hear it from visual effects people about how AI is just shaking that up and made it hard. But audio is kind of, you know, I mean, I'll admit it. Whenever we do stuff, it's like, fuck, this thing is trashed, and I don't know how to get in there and parse out like sound and clear it up. What audio AI is built into Premiere now that we can try? And usually they're wonky, but it's better. So like, is that gonna, like, as an audio engineer, like, I know that may not be the hat you're wearing now, but does that like scare that community?
You know, the thing at the end of the day, what the most important thing are the ears.
Yeah.
The way that you hear things, because you can use the tools and you can go in there and make it worse.
Yeah, I've done it.
You have to be able to listen and go, that sounds good. So you have to be able to critique it as a human being. That's really all it is anyway.
Yeah.
It's just knowing when it sounds good and when it doesn't. You know, whether you're on set, whether you're in post, you know, because you can have perfectly fine audio files, but if you don't know how to mix them, you know, it's going to sound like garbage.
yeah, for sure.
Amen, brother. That's kind of where we've been. It's like AI is a tool that makes stuff easier, but it also makes it kind of like wonky still. Like you still need a creator at the end to like mold it.
Well, it removes that, like when you do it yourself, you know how you achieved that. It removes that of like, you know, you do the AI and you're like, okay, it's better, or it's worse or whatever, but you also don't know how it got there. You know, you're like, what did it do to get it there? But versus like when a human does it or when you do it yourself, you know, the steps you took to reach that, you know.
It makes it like impossible to recreate.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When I use AI as a tool, every time my output is different.
Yeah.
Every single time. So it's not reliable. It's really not.
Yeah, so inconsistent compared to like.
So inconsistent. It's like I can't depend on it really to do anything. Now, I think it is powerful, like for some things, like you need to slightly, you know, focus a shot. Or what did I use it for? Oh, I use it for like automatic dialogue replacement, where there was a line that was unclear. It was just a word. And so I took the actor's takes, fed it into this thing, and it was able to just create that word for me, and I threw it in. And I thought, that's great. Now, am I going to make a whole movie like that? Hell no. With like a line or two, like that's where it should be used. And I think it does have its, you know, its applications. But
and I personally think we'll see using the AI to do the whole thing. That'll burn out. Like, I don't think that'll last. But I think the way that it will last is like we're talking about. It's through tools. It's like a way that artists can use it to further their own work, you know?
You said it, though. That's the key word, artist. Like, that's what it takes. Like, I think these tech guys kind of living in their own world, thinking that people are going to, like, start making their own movies where they're the hero. It's like, dude, you can write a book. You can write your own book too. How many people are doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like you can paint your own, you know, paintings. Like, how many people are doing that? Like, at the end of the day, you have to be an artist to do that. You can't just like, oh,
Right.
now I have the tools, and the tech guys are just like, yeah, everybody's going to just make all this stuff. And it's like, no, they're not.
No.
Or they might, but it's going to be garbage.
Yeah,
you know?
right. It's going to take a long ass time because every time the output's different. So you're going to have to sit there for 10 years until you get the right output on your tape. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, great. Okay, I got. There's one scene down. You know what I mean? 10 years later, you have a movie.
I've been sharing a trailer for VO3, VEO3. I think it's like Google's new filmmaking AI tool. And I sent it to Evan. I'm like, dude, we're fucked, dude. And I'm like, read that first comment. And there's a comment about a guy getting fired. But right under that, there's a consumer. And he's like, oh, great. I can't wait to watch a bunch of movies made by people who know nothing about making movies.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're not fooling anybody, and I can't, even if AI gets to a point where it can produce things that look like movies or feel like movies or whatever, like at the end of the day, like you go home after watching that movie, after being at the theater, and you're like, I just watched something made by a machine.
Yeah.
That is so that's like the most unsatisfying thing I've ever heard ever. Like it wasn't even made by a human. You know what I mean?
The whole idea behind, I think, any kind of art, film, visual art, music, it's all somebody's personal expression of their experiences and their feelings. And I think if that's not there, then what you watch is kind of hollow.
Unless you identify as a robot or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, just look at what happened to Susie. Like, there is no prompt that you could put into an AI that would ever lead you down the road of like, let's Paul Parducci in a high budget in-world camera movie shot during a global pandemic with like all these, like, there's no way that you could ever predict something like that. And I think part of the fun of watching a movie like you made is just understanding, especially with in-world camera, like every found footage movie, it's usually a filmmaker who didn't have the means to make the movie they wanted. Yeah. So everything is kind of a compromise and they're figuring it out. And a lot of the time, the rough spots are the best, which AI can't. I mean, behind me, these are literally AI paintings, right? Like I printed them out on canvas, and not because I thought they were great. I knew AI was going to move away from all of the fucking weird anomalies they did, like all the like misunderstanding of anatomy. And I just wanted to like capture that because I think beauty's in the imperfection. Right. And it's like, I don't know if you would have chosen, if you had the choice to shoot this during a pandemic, but it's there now. And like, would you remove it if you could?
You mean the whole movie?
No, I mean like that element.
Barriers.
Like if we could split into the metaverse and have one where there is no COVID lockdown. But okay, I put it that way, and then it's almost like
so COVID did inspire it. It wouldn't have been made otherwise.
Yeah, he said earlier that it helped him because of the whole mask thing. He said that earlier.
But if you had a genie, I mean, I don't think we would change it. I mean, except for all the like people that died and like being locked down and stuff. Well, but just in consideration of this movie.
Well, like we were talking about a minute ago with the whole missing the process thing. I think those limitations that you're talking about is where the most learning happens when you're making a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you learn what to do to get past those limitations and stuff, and that makes you a better filmmaker.
What surprised me was how difficult it was to make a feature, because I had made quite a few short films. I've been on a lot of large television shows, features, but I've never had to produce. I've never had to schedule something so massive.
Yeah.
So that was really intimidating. So, it was a learning process. Even though I had gone to film school, even though I'd made short films, even though I've been doing other things, that was next level. That was like challenging.
And you wrote this too, right?
Co-wrote it, yeah.
You co-wrote it?
Mm-hmm.
With these characters, did you have these characters in mind in this story? Like, where'd this story come from? We have Andy looking for his long-lost sister, and he was filming it for a documentary, and then here come Paul scooping in, and how'd this all come about? I want to hear about the movie a little bit. I heard about all the sound enough.
Yeah. No more. So I've always been fascinated with serial killers and sociopaths and just people that really have no motivation in life but to bring others misery. And I kind of thought that the pandemic was sort of a perfect opportunity for a predatory person to sort of like do essentially whatever the hell they wanted.
And maybe this is off base, but just on rewatch before this episode, it made me, because I've seen a lot of people online talk about, oh, well, I knew this reveal was coming, or you could tell it was going to happen. Yeah. And I think what I took away from it this last time was that maybe sometimes we, and it's, as the audience, maybe we saw it, but as that character, sometimes we don't see the danger that's right in front of us. That was the point. The point was, this guy should be obviously a bad person. And it's not so much that like Don is so clever, it's Andy is so gullible. That's the thing. Because that happens all the time. That's actually more realistic. Like the twist is in real life is never big. It's always like, you should have known better.
Yeah.
You should have known. So that was my commentary on that. Just how people kind of like good people, they're able to they're in the habit of looking, you know what I mean, on the bright side, are trying to find the best in people. But there are people out there that are just malicious, and all they want to do is like hurt you. Mm-hmm. That's their objective.
I agree. Okay, this is streaming on Found TV. I just rewatched that on Found, and it's also, where else is it streaming? Is it on Prime? Where can people go watch this?
It's exclusive on Found right now.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it was great. So, what do you have cooking up in the works? I know you got some other stuff that you're working on. So, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have another feature called Can't Wake Up. It's a supernatural horror film.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I learned a lot from what happened to Susie. I kind of figured out how I could, cut the cost but keep the production value high. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have a new teaser trailer.
Okay. Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
And is this in-world camera too?
What's that?
Is this like found footage or in-world camera as well?
This is not found footage. This is
okay. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
So we're gonna show that teaser.
Yeah. Let's give it a watch.
I want to see it. I'm excited.
All right. Here we go, y'all.
Oh, no sound.
Oh, turn it up, Evan. Start over.
Evan.
He might be just messing with it.
Or he smoked too much.
I know. He probably did, because he'd be smoking.
Evan.
You saw him? Did he freeze?
There's no audio.
Yeah,
there's no audio?
No.
Oh, my God. Also,
you didn't hear us? What is happening?
Oh, hang on.
We're not getting audio. I also noticed right before that you're the only one with the little @ sign under your name. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I put that there, dude. You can put that there if you want.
No, he did not.
I'm a professional.
No, you just want everyone to go follow you.
I mean, yeah, you gotta.
Everyone go follow Evan Jordan.
At that Evan Jordan on all social media.
Period.
Check me out. Okay, now we
He's
got
so
audio.
into
I'm gonna do it a different
Russell,
way.
you see this? Why are you so into himself?
No, I'm excited. This time with audio.
All right, y'all. Here we go.
Nope,
I see it muted on your
still
screen.
No audio. Yep.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. This is. You need to put the pipe down.
All right.
I'm digging this music.
Tracking shot down the road.
Yeah, see, the music was great.
Yeah, I know. It's so much better when we could hear it.
Yeah. I was just like,
well, the thing
she's
is,
running
I couldn't
from
hear
something.
you saying that you couldn't hear it, but yeah, that was tight.
She was running. She inspired me. I need to start running. Let me get on. Girl, she was on. She was out there. Okay, that sound was great. So I don't know what she running from. Is she sleepwalking running? You said it's supernatural. Is there a ghost? I have all these questions.
Yeah. So she is running from something. She's not sure exactly what it is, but it's been terrorizing her the whole movie and her family. It's about like a family curse. Like, so the daughter's mom dies like prematurely, and she goes back home to basically pick up the pieces, sort things out, and make the funeral arrangements and whatnot, and realizes that there's something more sinister going on than she thought.
Okay. That's tight. I love the way that specifically at the end of the trailer, the way the camera, she turned like the road splits and she goes down the right fork and the camera goes down the left fork. That's a cool.
Thanks.
I like that little trick there. Looks
We,
nice.
yeah, it's just a street we were on. You know, we had that that option, so we took it. We're like, oh, that's fun. Of course, you know that tracking shot's just in the back of a truck, cruising down the road.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So is this already? Okay.
No, go ahead, Terrell.
Oh, is this already done filming? Is this something that's like in post production or? Okay. And when is this coming out?
Okay, so we're just finishing up the VFX on it. I'm scoring it, so I'm working on that. Almost done with the score. So I'd say like 2 or 3 months. It just really depends. VFX can take a long time.
Yeah, take your time. Get it right.
We did practicals, so we're just enhancing practicals.
Yeah.
But even so, it could be a very time consuming process. But I'm hoping sooner than later. We'll see.
That's the way to do it, though. With the shoot it with the practical in camera and then go on top of it with effects. That's like it looks really sick.
We didn't have like I did make it for very little money. So we didn't have a huge effects budget, So, like some of it worked really well and some of it's like, that's okay. I think that's the only area I would spend a little bit more money and time on. And I also learned a couple things about scheduling too with the practical effects. You kind of have to do them all together, and you really need to allot a lot more time than you think. So going to the next one, it's like I learned a lot from Susie. I learned even more from Can't Wake Up. So I'm just trying to keep the momentum.
Well, in terms of the shooting, I'm curious. You said you learned a lot on Susie and then on this. So like you shot that haunted attraction doc in the 2000s, and that was a documentary, and then you made What Happened to Susie, which is a faux doc. So talk about, I guess, what was that transition like into shooting a faux doc versus a doc, and then as well as stepping forward into this new feature where it's traditionally shot.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about Susie is it's what's called unedited footage, or there's a better word for it. I'm just kind of forgetting what it's called, but essentially it's just the camera records and it stops recording and then picks up, records again. So there's really no like editing in Susie, or there isn't supposed to be.
Right.
And so that's a lot different than Festivals of Fright, which had a shit ton of editing. But you can do that, in a real documentary. But if you're trying to convince people that things are real,
yeah,
the less editing, typically, the better. So it is a totally different approach. But I'll tell you this: like, I spent so much time in production, like organizing everything, that I didn't have a lot of time to think about the movie visually. So when I finally did, I had like 2 days left or something like that to like, okay, now I can start focusing on the shot list, the visual style. And I realized like, oh my God, this is going to be hard to film. I have long takes. It could get boring. I need to be really, really careful with how fast the actors are delivering the lines. Can't be too slow, but they also can't feel rushed. So the trick there was really like just the pacing, how fast the lines are delivered. I was cutting out a lot of things. It's very talky, especially.
Oh yeah, cut out the talking. We don't want too much talking.
But by nature, there's a shit ton of talking in Susie. And my co-writer, he loves like Kevin Smith and all that stuff, and so he's putting a lot of dialogue in there. And I'm thinking like, uh-oh, this is going to be hard. And it was. It took a while to edit it to get the right cut because it was very easy for it to slow down too much, and then
was there a longer version?
there's a version with the owl kill scene. So we actually do see that character get killed. But
Oh, so you cut out a kill and left talking? You should have put the kill in and cut some talking.
that's kind of maybe how I feel now. I think I think I was so like paranoid about the running time because it was like 98 minutes the first cut, and I'm like, God, you know, this is long for found footage, and so I was just trying to move it along as fast as I could. But, you know, I probably will at some point release an uncut version of the film.
Oh, okay. So we get all the kills and all the juicy stuff.
We get the kills and there's a couple other little things too that I took out that I probably didn't need to take out, but it's such a unusual film. I didn't have too much to compare it to, and I wasn't really sure how it would be received. You know, I was actually surprised. I thought it was going to get panned because they like totally panned because the festival circuit didn't like it. Like nobody wanted to show it. So some people did reach out independently and go like, you know, your movie is just too different than everything else, you know?
Whatever.
And,
it's bullshit. People, they still have a stigma with found footage, even now, even though the internet would tell you contrary. Completely.
Oh yeah.
Like they love parsing that stuff out, and you made a movie it's got like a mystery, and people love following those breadcrumbs. But on top of that, you had a COVID movie too, so I think you just had the 1-2 combo that people are like, I'm not touching that. Like it's found footage and COVID.
The festivals probably were like, we don't want to remind people. You know? Or I even think like it's even less intellectual than that. I think it's like people just don't want to be put back into that headspace. They don't want to like they have trauma, you know what I mean, from the pandemic. So when they see things that remind them of it, you know what I mean, they're like, no. And the thing is too is like there's a lot of stuff in there. Like, so I remember because I made Susie, I remember the pandemic, I think, much more clearly than a lot of people do because I was constantly thinking about it and, you know what I mean, and working on the script. And like, for instance, you know, like Don wears gloves and a lot of people go, well, that's such an obvious tell. But see, what they're forgetting is in the very beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people were wearing gloves.
Yeah.
So this is just something that people have pushed out. You know what I mean? Of their mind because they don't want to, you know, but there's a lot of stuff like that. And I'll go, oh, do you remember when we did that? You know, I'll be talking to somebody in conversation. They're like, no. And I'm like, we did. We did. You just don't blocked it out. Yeah.
I think Dawn also has the vibe of like an urban Undertaker, and it looks like he's going to choke slam you with those fucking gloves. Like he's so intimidating, and him trying to be
is. Even in person, when he came to Uff. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, Paul is a sweetheart.
But he's so nice.
He's so nice. But I mean, when he showed up at the fest, you know, it was like he was like wading in water. He's just like bigger than everybody.
Yep.
And it's like, you know, when he's being kind of a like smaller, trying to like keep journalistic integrity cameraman, it's like, oh, something's weird here. Like,
Okay. Well, you know, that was another part of the thing I was playing into, and it was dangerous. But I'm also like, again, I wanted to learn making the movie. I didn't want to just like, you know, take the safe route. I never did that in Susie. I never took this. So with him, it was like right away. I'm like I love Paul, but I'm like, he seems fucking guilty as hell. It would have to like, you know what I mean? So I was like, it's going to be really hard to kind of conceal this. But then what I started to think was, well, that's also part of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that it's obvious. It's obvious that this guy is bad. You know what I mean? He's a bad dude. And I don't mean like guys that are buff or, you know, have deep voices are bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like in a movie, stereotypically like that, those are the things to indicate villains.
Right.
Those are the things you use to indicate villains. And so I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to indicate it. I'm just like straight out the gate. Like this is the killer. And just to see how people will react. And, you know, some people hate it because they think like I'm trying to trick them. And I'm like, no, actually, I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not. Like Don's trying to trick Andy, but I'm not trying to trick you as a filmmaker. I'm like, this is a bad dude.
Yeah.
And
So-
Andy just can't see it.
Andy just can't see it. That's the point. And so but I was, that also scared the shit out of me because I'm like, and people like the people that don't like the movie, they hate it because of that reason. They're like, it was so obvious because they're used to the twist. They want the twist to them is like that makes a good movie, right?
Whatever.
I disagree with that.
People don't know what they want.
I don't think the twist makes or breaks a movie. I think it can be great. But I mean, let's look at M. Night Shyamalan's career. Like, I don't want to twist like most of the time. I thought Sixth Sense was great. But I mean, other than that, he kind of kept using the same formula. Yeah. And it just got kind of old. He did make a good found footage movie though.
Yep.
I did like
The Visit.
The Visit was good. I did like that.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
don't need to talk shit on him. I just want to talk shit on formulas and people's preconceptions.
Dude,
how movies should be.
It's Hitchcock. He always that was his in Truffaut Hitchcock in that long form interview turned into a book. He always gives that example of the poker table. And it's like, hey, there's 4 dudes at a poker table, they're playing, and it explodes. Okay. The audience is caught off guard. He's like, now, what if we do the scene where there's 3 guys at a poker table, 1 walk in, the camera cut under the table, and there's a bomb, and there's a timer. Now we're above the table and people are playing poker. It's like now the audience knows something they don't and we're anticipating it. And it's like you made a movie where you got a lion in the bushes, but we know he's there.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what's he going to do?
Right.
And it's Paul Parducci.
Right.
It's like, it's a fucking spectacle. It's great.
Thank
People
you.
don't know what they want.
Thank you. Yeah. I think it will age well. And I think Evan, you kind of said it like, you need to watch it more than once. And it's not because like, I drop all these hints because I do. I mean, they're all there, right? But that's not, I don't think what makes it good. What makes it good is when you get past the twist, like when you're anticipating that.
Yeah,
right.
You want that big reveal, well, when you've already had the reveal, and so now it's no longer a priority. You watch it again, there are other things that are there, I think, that are much more intriguing than a twist.
I didn't go into this movie thinking that there was going to be a twist. When I was watching this, I thought it was clear as day that this man was evil. Because how you going to pop up on him and say, oh, well, I'm doing this. How about you just join me? This random ass man. So I thought if there was a twist, the twist would be that this man wasn't even the killer. It would be somebody else. Now, that would have been the twist. Yeah. So that's why I was confused when y'all talking about all these twists and stuff. But I thought it was already him because it was all strange. Everything was just strange leading up. I don't know. I thought it was going to be somebody else.
But
Terrell, I was thinking about doing that. But then that would take away from what I was really trying to say. No,
and I get it. Yeah. You're mentioning a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I don't like the twist because it's so in your face." But I'm saying like, "Oh, well, yeah." But
I'm saying it wasn't really essentially. What I'm saying is there is no twist. There is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But, the audience wants one, but there isn't.
Yeah, there you go. That's where I was going at. Okay, perfect.
But also, you have to note, Terrell is a cinema detective. Look at the poster behind him screen. He loves the whodunit.
I do. My favorite. I like to guess like who the killer will be, or I like those type of movies. I like to have fun with that and like the red herrings. Like, oh, it can't be that person, and I'm great at it. So maybe that I'm a bad
Terrell,
example.
show me your badge. Your detective badge.
Well, some people don't see it coming, and I think that's because I think those are the people that would be tricked by somebody like Don. No, I don't need to be talked down on them or anything like that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that do get tricked by
those type of people, and that's real life. You have to learn those experiences and get around.
For sure.
Yeah. So you made an interesting film, and I want people to watch it and more people to watch it. So get Found TV, everybody, and get into it. So your next movie, how was the cast on that one? Because you had a solid little cast with this group of people in this last one. How was it with this? Is there any big name people in this, or is this like friends of yours? These like indie actors and stuff like that?
Yeah, so a friend of mine, Tanya Lene Smith, she runs a acting school, and I told her that I was going to do my next one, non-union, and so we kind of talked about it, and she said, well, you can, come into the class and maybe you could teach some of the classes, just, be sort of the director on a couple of days and stuff. And maybe you'll see some students that you like, And so I kind of did my casting through the theater, which was a lot of fun. It was a good experience. Yeah. And, but also here's something else too. Like I realized I probably could have gone a different route too. There were so many actors in Los Angeles, and I mean non-union actors too, and there are a lot of talented actors here. It's just kind of unbelievable. When I lived in the Bay Area, I didn't have that pool, of people. But here, but it's very doable here in Los Angeles. Like you can get some great actors, and I brought in a couple of actors that were like FICOR, which is like they are in the union, but they've sort of given up their rights or something like that, so they could do non-union work. There's penalties involved with this, but some. I mean, there's no work, so a lot of SAG actors are going FICOR now. So I did bring in a couple of FICOR actors, so I did have some experienced people. But that I love the process. I love the process. So whatever the process is, if someone's like, here's $2, make a movie, or someone's like, you have to only do non-union actors, or you have 24 hours to make your film, or whatever. Like, I like all those challenges. Like to me, that's the best part.
We did that, Russ. Me and Russell did a movie with a couple of people in one day. It was fun.
Yeah.
It
also just makes it fun. In addition to those limitations, like being where you learn, I think it just makes it fun. Like, if you have an unlimited budget, it's like, oh, well, we can just buy our way into that. But it's more fun when you have to figure out the logistics without the money to actually do it.
I also think that it's going to lead to something great. It's going to lead to something much better than if someone just handed you, the money to do it and the talent and everything. Like, so you're going to have to figure out all these workarounds, to make it good.
Absolutely.
So you're not going to cut out any kills this time, right?
No, and there's like zero dialogue. I mean, because there was just so much talking in Susie, I'm like, okay, it's like when you date, right? Like you date like one type of person, and then the next person you date or get into a relationship, they're like the opposite.
Okay,
it's like that. It's exactly like
so
that.
These two movies will be night and day, literally. Oh, okay,
literally, yeah. Because for me, it's like it's all about the process. So like that's all I care about at the end of the day. Do I want to make a good film? Maybe I do, or maybe I just want to like throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
You want to make a great film. So speaking of film, what do you? I just want to get in the head of your what you like. So what kind of movies nowadays that if you've watched or some of your favorite films in the past? Just curious, like what kind of films are you like into?
Well, I'll talk about new stuff first.
Okay.
I really liked like Barbarian. I really liked.
Hell yeah.
That was great.
And I like the experimentation too that's going on right now in horror. It Follows. I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Love Get Out. I just thought there's so much opportunity there. And I also thought what I liked about Get Out was it reminded me of movies that were being made in the 70s that were like politically charged. Like this movie is trying to say something. So I really felt like, this is like a Dawn of the Dead kind of a thing. Like this is really, this was really making me think, so
the 70s ruled. They don't make them like that anymore.
Were awesome for that. I mean, it was a lot of Vietnam commentary, with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff, but it was still pretty awesome, right? How you could hide like that, so much political stuff, you know what I mean? In a horror film. Because you can't do that. You can't do that with a drama. You try to talk about those things in a drama, and it just comes off as like heavy-handed. So the horror film is great. So it kind of like inspired me to go like you can do a lot with this genre without being obvious. So that's cool. So I like a lot of that. I like a lot of the new stuff. And there's stuff that's like that's not particularly good. I don't think, but at least it's moving. It's still moving in a direction. Like I saw Sinners, and I thought, kind of a big budget, movie, and there's some good moments, but I didn't love it or anything. But it's better than a lot of the stuff that's coming out in the early 2000s. I think
Okay.
overall the genre is stronger now. But it's, in terms of classics, like I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love Jaws. I love The Fog. I love The Thing. I like John Carpenter in general. And I love George Romero. I grew up watching Tales from the Dark Side on television, and I always kind of liked the dark twist they were doing with that show. So
Okay.
like a dark Twilight Zone, and kind of a weird. It was also very kind of unusual.
Yeah.
But I like other movies and horror films.
Is horror your go-to? What's what's your shit? Like, what do you get excited for? Are you like a movie guy? Are you buying Criterion?
Oh yeah, I like it all. I like movies in general, but I get excited for horror films. I always have. It's just my favorite type of movie. I do like found footage. I'm always curious, kind of like what people are doing with the genre. It's not terribly innovative.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. But
How dare you?
Like you've got your Blair Witches and you've got your Paranormal Activity, but then people just kind of like make the same movie over and over again,
Well, James,
I'd like to
I'm
see
glad
a little bit more experimentation, I think, in the genre.
Here, I got a good segue for you, and you've presented me a challenge, and we actually had a journalist come out to UF8 who said a similar thing. Like, it seems that the genre is kind of okay, just playing in the same water. Like, it's not evolving. But I think there's still a misconception that found footage horror is really the umbrella, and it's not. I always say in-world camera because we have to include faux documentaries, screen life movies like you made. I would consider yours a screen life, which just the implication has a narrative impact. Like we're watching, like you said, it's not like a traditional camera. We're not running around with that, and it's kind of spliced together using computer footage. But I also would argue that, and I'm curious to hear your take because I think you've worked with them before. And again, James has a storied audio career. I'm looking at your list. You have Comedy Bang Bang on here. You worked with On Cinema, Decker, Tim and Eric's Bedtime Story, and then Nathan For You. And right now, my big counter argument to that is that I think The Rehearsal is a example of an in-world camera show. Sure. And the idea is that found footage, we're making a faux reality, and the whole thing is the audience, and we learned this with the Blair Witch. They know it's fake, but we're going to try and bring it as close to home as we can. That the suspension of disbelief isn't a leap, it's just right there. And if you just give us a little, then you can get immersed. And I think what Nathan Fielder's done is he's taken that reality TV platform.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about reality TV now. We know, we talked to somebody who was on Snooki's found footage horror movie and talking about the type of script. Yeah, JWoww. And talking about the type of script that they deliver on a reality show where it's you just get bullet notes and you're these need to happen. And I think Nathan has taken that production and our understanding of it and blended it with the reality in a way that people are still is this real? What the fuck am I watching? He's a comedian. Is everything parody? Is it all staged? And so my argument, I guess, would be that maybe found footage horror is kind of in a loop, trapped right now. But in broad terms, the in-world camera stuff it may be stronger than ever.
Sure.
Do you know Nathan?
I do.
How is he in real life?
Close to how he is on the show. Close, but not exact.
Are you constantly questioning? Is this a bit? His deadpan delivery. We have another friend who ran into him in New York, and he saw him, and he's a fan, and he was I'm gonna go talk to him, and he was he seemed like he was in a headspace that I shouldn't approach him, and not I'm a celebrity, back off, but just pondering shit and struggling with life, and he was just decided not to.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably not the most approachable person. I have a good relationship with him. I did the first and second season. I was the only sound mixer on that season. I stepped away to do Comedy Bang Bang, and so I didn't do season 3, but I would have. So I have a very good working relationship with him. I didn't do the rehearsal because I'd been out of contact with him for so long, but I can give you some insight on sort of who he is,
All right, I'm
how
buckling
the
up.
productions work, and all that stuff if you want.
Dude, I would love. Well, I mean, right now I've been kind of like parts. Did you watch it? Rehearsal season 2?
I've seen the first season. I haven't watched the second one yet. I did like most of the first season. I thought it was good. I think Nathan For You is better. That's just maybe because I worked on it. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
my personal opinion.
it's more palatable to a general audience, and I think much like your film, dude. Jump back in and then ride right into season 2. And I'll tell you, season 2 is even harder to understand. And he mentions it in episode 1 that he's making a comedy show for HBO. And he's like, we're 10 minutes in and I haven't told a joke. Like, that's a line in the show. So you're like, is this like biographical? Like, what are we doing?
He's a mastermind. He's a master manipulator, Nathan Fielder. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean like he knows how people tick. And he can get you to say the most absurd thing imaginable, and do the most absurd thing imaginable. He knows how to make videos go viral. I mean,
Oh wow, he sounds like you, Russ.
He achieves it. He like
Master manipulator.
A lot of people are all excited, like, oh, we'll do this, that, especially in Hollywood, you know. And he's just kind of like, well, we're just going to put a goat saving a pig. And you're like, that's so stupid, Nathan. What the fuck are you talking about? And then next thing you know, it's got like 100 million views. You know what I mean? You're just like, what? And that's just how his brain works. He just understands the human mind.
All right, so Mr. James. So before we go, this is great. Tell us where we can follow you, or any websites we can go to hear about this new movie, or social medias that you want to plug. People can go get updates on what's coming up for you, and
So new idea on Instagram. That's kind of my company umbrella where I'm doing all the different films. I update screenings and give information on release dates, festivals, all that good stuff. So all the info's there. But I also have a personal account that, you know what I mean, you can follow me on. So just James Ersted, Ersted. So yeah, that's Instagram as well. I use Facebook sparingly, and I use the other social media sparingly. But you can find the movie What Happened to Susie on there as well on Facebook. I did create a TikTok.
Nice.
To the dark side.
I'm barely on that.
I think I go on it once a year, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I do have one.
Okay, cool. Well, we're excited to hear more. Do you have any other lasting thoughts? Any sneak peeks you can give us? Some little
I will eventually return to found footage. I am kind of like interested to see what I can do sort of with a more improvised movie. Something that actually feels as real as possible. I'm really curious, like how far you can go with that, how real you can make it, you know, when it's not. So I'm kind of experimenting with a couple of different ideas there. I've got one called Lady of the Woods that's found footage, and I'm just developing it. But I have a completed screenplay for something that's a little bit more like Barbarian, kind of an action horror film.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, called It Fell to Earth. A lot of gore, a lot of like chase scenes.
Was this Aliens? I'm playing. I don't know. Aliens. You don't have to say.
Not really. But it does have there is sort of a space element. Yes.
Oh,
James, I'll tell you right now, you're in luck. If you need a lead actor who's great in a chase scene, I know Terrell personally. I can give you.
Oh God!
But also, if for Lady in the Woods, I know a terrifying shed out in the middle of nowhere.
Evan. Yeah, he got bodies out there, dead bodies.
Like 50 acres of woods out here and a bunch of old property on it. So yeah, feel free to write something around that if you want.
Yeah, tons of human bones. We don't have to pay anything for them.
Yeah, they're all there. Bloody beds. It's crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll just use the corpses of the filmmakers that failed making their last, found footage.
Exactly.
What a polite pivot, James.
Well, this was fun, and thank you, James, for coming to join us here at Footage Foreplay. This should be up. It'll go up by Thursday, I think. Maybe we'll see.
We'll let you know.
We'll see. We'll let you know. But you'll see all of it. We'll be tagging you all over the place. But But thank you for coming on. This is Footage Foreplay. We're gonna see you guys next time. Bye.
Right.
Yeah, love you, James, dude. Thanks for hanging out.
Enjoyed it, James.
Thanks for listening to Footage Foreplay. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or simply hitting like. These small gestures are a great free way to support this mayhem, and if you find some footage we should be fondling, email us at footageforeplay@gmail.com. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes, and remember, don't skip the foreplay.